Hello, everybody. Welcome to another season of I Feel with Kaur and King. We are so excited. This is our very first episode of the season. And for those of you who do not know me, I am Sachi Kaur and I'm a neuroscientist. And that's my partner.
Tisha King, and I have a PhD in neuroscience. So you may be wondering why our setup looks a little different today than the last season. So I actually moved to Connecticut for a new job. So me and Sachi aren't in the same place anymore, but we definitely wanted to keep the podcast going.
Yeah. And of course, I have to say that I miss Tisha a lot. But we are ready for another season and so excited. So let's just dive in. So Tisha, what is our topic for first episode?
So our topic for today, we're going to be talking about partner preferences. So what we like in a partner, what we don't like, what we go for, and what we try to avoid. So Sachi, what are some things that you like in a partner or that you look for?
Well, I think before we kind of start with that, I do want to tell everybody that all of us actually have different preferences, and it's very much backed by science on why we think the way we think and the feelings that we have. So everything in this season, of course, is going to be more. I want to tell the audience it's going to be backed up by science, and we're going to be very real, very vulnerable. Like, I don't think I have shared this on like what do I like in a partner before on a podcast. So um going back to your question, the things that I prefer in a partner, I think for me one of the biggest thing is he has to be really good at communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is key, and I like guys who are tall. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the physical aspect. So tall, a little muscular. Yeah. So what are the top two for you?
Top two, I would say a good sense of humor because I like to laugh,
Mm-hmm.
and someone who, outside of having a good sense of humor, can also have like intellectual conversations about stuff. So it's not
Oh
like we're
yeah.
just laughing all the time, but we can also talk about
Yeah.
something serious every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just forgot to say that because I think without the intellectual conversations, it's not gonna really go anywhere. Like you have
Yeah,
to be able to have intellectual conversations with the person and also have fun at the same time.
yeah,
But it's hard to find that combination.
yeah. Because if you have more intellect than you need, it kind of gets boring.
It does. Ask me
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you need a good mix of both to make the right person.
Exactly, exactly. And it's just so hard to find that kind, Although we I mean, sometimes I do think about it just like, well, I'm like that. So why
Hmm.
can't I find a guy who's like that too? But yeah.
I think a lot of people may be like that, but it's hard to bring it out of different people in like a way
Probably.
that's natural and doesn't feel forced.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Probably.
maybe it's like the comfortability of how you are with the other person.
Yeah. I think being just comfortable being you is so important too when you're with somebody. So
Yeah.
just being okay in your own skin and just like do the stupid things and also talk about your dreams, your goals, your ideas, and the intellect and everything. So that's a great spot to be in, like if you do find that kind of a person.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, so Tisha, like whenever people do talk about dating, people always are like, well, opposites attract. So how much do you
Hmm.
think is it true? And have you dated somebody who was like your complete opposite? Complete opposite.
Complete opposite, I would say no, but
Okay.
opposite in some aspects. So like I'm more introverted and I usually gravitate towards more extroverted people. So that they're the ones that are more social, more want to go out and will like pull me out of my comfort
Mm-hmm.
zone. So I think
Right.
in that sense, I'm like look for like more people that are opposite in that way. But as far as like core values go, usually those align up pretty well. So sometimes like the outgoing characteristics may be a little different, but I think that's just because I like need a push to actually get out and go do things sometimes.
Yeah, no, and also that kind of makes sense because I have seen a lot of couples where one person's an introvert, the other's an extrovert. But for most times, like the core values match.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you
Yeah.
find that to be the same with you, that you gravitate towards people that are more like you or more dislike you?
I so okay, if we're talking about have I dated somebody so opposite to me? I have. Was not a good experience. Um so if you were just I think that was not because we were opposite in the fact that um he was more of an extrovert and I mean nobody thinks I'm an introvert. I don't think I'm an introvert. But if somebody is more extroverted than I am, then it's
Hmm.
a bit of a problem. And I think even like with core values and beliefs, there was a difference. And that's where I felt like, oh, that's like my polar opposite. I cannot date this person. But yeah, that I think yeah, that has happened. And do I gravitate more towards somebody who's similar or opposite? I think again, similarity in core beliefs, honesty, openness, that is so important to me. Loyalty is important to me. So family is
Definitely.
important to me. Yeah. So
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
if you check those boxes with being open, being honest, being open to perception, communication, all those kind of things, and you hold your family very close and dear to you, then definitely I think um I would I would be open to dating that person. The other things, I guess, you can kind of adjust a little bit with if you do really like the person.
Hmm. So outside of the core values, you have a little wiggle room.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's why because if you get just too rigid, you might kind of not see some really great things in other people.
What if
So
it's something um, like say somebody like is super into the gym and they like to go to the gym every day, twice a day, and you like maybe go a
twice
few
a
times
day,
a week. I'm just saying like the very, very extreme. What about something like
right?
that? Is that a deal breaker?
No, not at all. I mean, I would be like, well, good. You should take care of yourself. You should go to the gym. I like some muscles on a man. So yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah, good. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah.
Okay, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I
Uh,
would agree. I think even like just something simple that I'm thinking about for myself, like with me not eating meat, it's not like I would not date someone because they do. Like that would be completely
yeah,
ridiculous, I think. So
yeah,
yeah, I agree
yeah.
with it's really the values that's important.
Right. And but interesting thing. So in India, you know that arranged marriage is a thing,
Hmm.
and there is so people have like profiles and stuff on it's an app called shadi.com where people are
Hmm.
looking to get married and this and that. And for a lot of people, this whole vegetarian, non-vegetarian thing, it's a deal breaker, which,
Really?
yeah, which just blows my mind. I'm like, you would not be with somebody because you have just different food preferences. I mean, I guess you can both adjust a little bit.
Yeah, I just couldn't see it being that serious. I guess maybe if you're like a hardcore vegan or something, and you maybe if that's a part of your identity and you just can't bend, but I don't know. For me, it's just not that big of a deal. I mean, if you want to eat some chicken, go right ahead. It's not going to hurt me one
Exactly.
way or the other. So
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't think that food preferences should really be a deal breaker.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that is interesting though to think that
yeah,
like it's that serious for some people.
it is. It is very serious for
Yeah.
some people. Well, we live in an interesting world.
Yeah. So, Sachi,
Okay.
what do you think about instances where, or have you ever been in a situation where your preference or maybe a friend's preference didn't match what they deserved or what they wanted or what they got, I guess?
Hmm. Okay. So if it is either mine or my friend,
Yeah, just any situation where maybe somebody has a specific preference for a particular type of person, but it doesn't really match like the lifestyle that they have.
Have I seen it?
Yeah, yeah. Like
I've
say
seen
you
it.
want, for example, like someone wants someone that has a lot of money and is a millionaire, but they work at McDonald's. Like, how could you aspire to have that when you don't even have it for yourself? Do you think that that's very common in today's world?
I think that's very common. It's very, it's much more common than I think we think.
Hmm.
Because people specifically, I think because of social media itself, like our expectations of everything, be it life or the kind of partner that we want, um, it, it's just, it's just blown out of proportion.
Yeah,
It's,
I guess social media does make it seem like everything is so attainable, like you could just have it right now because it's like kind of right in front of you in the phone.
yeah,
So,
exactly. It's like, well, if that person has it, why can't I? I mean, that's okay, but kind of, I do definitely feel though, like personally, if there's something that you want, first you've got to be at that level. You've got to become that to kind of get that.
hmm, hmm,
So you have to work on yourself. You can't be like that I literally don't like to work out and all I want to do is like eat and not take care of myself or my body in general. And then you want, oh, I want somebody like who's very
right,
muscular, goes to the gym every
right.
day and eats super healthy. Like it's
It
there's
just doesn't match up.
there's a huge disconnect. I mean, I have definitely seen people do that and think that oh, I might be something, but I want something very different.
Right,
So
right.
okay, so have you seen that in real life that somebody is something else but wants something completely opposite of who they are in a partner?
I think, like you were saying on social media, you see it a lot. And I also think that in life, the people that approach you are kind of like a reflection of your your current state. So like wherever you
Mm-hmm.
are, the people that are the closest around you will reflect who you are back to you. So it's like impossible for you to, for people, for anyone to kind of think like you were saying, if I'm like a slob on the couch all the time eating potato chips or whatever,
Right,
and I want
right.
someone who's like very muscular, very built, and very into their fitness.
Yeah, I think we
Um,
just. Hmm.
yeah, it just doesn't match up.
So I think we're just talking about like the physical appearance, but even like something that's so important to me is ambition. Somebody who's very driven in their life. So I think if I were like, well, I really don't care what happens in my life. I just want to sit at home and chill and like not do anything, or I'm not a career driven woman. I can't, I can't want somebody who is very ambitious, very career driven and all that, because I think if that's the case, there'll be a huge gap in understanding the mindset. So I think your mindset should also
I
really
agree.
match on your
Yeah.
outlook towards life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. I didn't even think about it in terms of mindset and like internal values, but it's pretty much the same concept. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Your mindset. Okay. So now you tell me, have you ever been the person to approach someone you were attracted to?
I have not, and I do not plan to in the near future. I don't know. It's just I get really nervous. I'm already, like I said, I'm an introvert and I am kind of quiet outside. Like I'm
Mhm.
not really one to even approach people. I'm like, oh hey, like how you doing and things. So
Yeah.
I'm already more into myself. So it gives me a lot of anxiety thinking about approaching somebody else.
Right.
So no, I will not be doing that anytime soon. What about you? Have you done that before? Or would
I
you?
have not. I mean, I have not, but I also do believe like if you like someone or if you really want to explore something with somebody, I feel like you should just go for it and like
Hmm, hmm.
make the first move because we are not in the time where only the guy has to make the first move because I know a lot of
Yeah.
lot of girls and women do think that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, although I've never approached somebody like that, but I and like I would want to come out of my comfort zone and try and do that if at all I feel
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, I would really, really kind of want to date this person or just explore like what could be there. So I don't think I would mind that. I haven't done it yet, but I won't mind it either.
So you haven't been in a situation yet where you've been like around someone or seen someone that you were interested in and you felt the urge to, but you didn't? Like that just hasn't happened yet?
I don't think I liked somebody that much. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
is it really worth me getting out of my
Yeah.
comfort zone and approaching that person?
Yeah,
I
I would
think,
agree with that
yeah.
too. Although I don't think that I ever would do it, I've never been in a situation where I felt like, oh, I should go do it and I'm like nervous about it. It just hasn't happened.
I don't know why I kind of do feel like if you were put in that position and you're like, I really want to date this person, I think you would do it.
Hmm.
I
You
don't
think
know.
so?
I think so. I think you will,
Maybe.
or I will push you enough. Like, yes, you should. Let's go. So
Oh,
I
well,
think
there
so.
has been a situation before. This was like years ago, but I don't even know if this really counts. I was out like to dinner or lunch or something with my mom and my grandmother once.
Hmm.
And one of the waiter, he was pretty cute there. And so they kept like urging me to like just talk to him or like leave him your number or something. So I left him my number there on the napkin, like in the
Oh,
on the table
okay,
when we left.
okay.
But I don't know if that really counts. He did text me, but it didn't really come of anything. It was still like a nervousy way to go about it, I think.
Yeah, but well, that's oh, that's something you could do. I mean, you know what? That that kind of reminds me of this show that I was watching, and
Hmm.
the name it's on the show is on Netflix, I think, and the name of the show is Modern Love. Modern
Oh,
Love
hmm.
Amsterdam. So there was this guy, and what he did was that he saw somebody, I think, in the park
Hmm.
somewhere,
Hmm.
and then he takes like a little postcard kind of thing, and he writes, "Well, I saw you in the park yesterday."
Hmm.
Um, and then just writes like, "I'm looking for a woman who has curly hair and an athletic body. If you do find this, please give me a call at," and his number. And he has
Hmm.
that little postcard stuck like in all the different grocery stores around that park, thinking
Right.
that woman's gonna come and text. And then a woman does find it and texts him. So I'm like, people do come up with like the craziest things
Yeah, that is definitely
to
crazy.
that is really, really crazy. Although it was in a show, so I don't know how real it was.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
regardless,
I'm sure it has happened somewhere at least
I'm pretty
once.
sure. I am pretty sure people are very innovative with things like that these days.
Yes, yes.
Okay, let us just now talk about the science behind the partner preferences. And of course, we've done a lot of research on this topic and we have tried to see actually, is there a trend in online dating and is there a trend in real life? And from this data, what we actually found was that participants' preferences, they corresponded most closely with an aspirational mate choice strategy. So it's basically that people are nowhere close to the kind of person that they want to date, but it's like all the aspirations that people have, and it's so what they did see was they did track the online dating apps and saw what were people kind of you know putting in their preferences as, and they did see that a lot of people want something very different from who they are. So it does work in the online dating world, and it does also work in the real world as well. People
Hmm.
just are not realistic.
Yeah, and that's really interesting too, because it kind of goes back to what we were saying before about the misalignment between the preferences that you may have and then who you actually are as a person. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, if you think you're a really neat person and you keep your apartment really clean and tidy and everything, and then maybe you get a boyfriend or girlfriend or a roommate or something, and their definition of what is considered neat and yours are completely different, and now
Yeah.
you have a horrible relationship between the two of you because it's just not on the same page. So it kind of is like that where you have your own idea or your own line that you're drawing for
Hmm.
different attributes, and everybody's just different.
Exactly. And I think that's also one of the biggest reasons why there is this huge misalignment, because everybody has their own perspective of like, okay, good looking or intelligent or smart, and everybody is just on a very different, place and tangent. And then when they are looking to find people, because they don't know themselves completely or what's realistic enough, the standards are like way off of what it
Hmm.
should be. And when I do think about um how people kind of choose their partners, I do listen to Jordan B. Peterson a lot. I
Hmm.
know he says some controversial things and a lot of people do not agree with him, but there's one thing that he did say, which was, when people are thinking about what kind of a partner do they want, he was like, that's the most narcissistic thing that you can think of,
Hmm.
because what you should instead think of is, what is the kind of person do I want to become for my partner?
Right, right. And then in
So
turn, that person will return back to you. Like it'll be the reflection thing again.
exactly, because I think we do gravitate towards people who are in some way a reflection of us. That's how
Hmm.
yeah, that's how I feel, because you only, even when we talk about, the law of manifestation or these things, it's like you
Hmm.
attract who you are.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
100%. I definitely agree with that. 100%.
hmm, yeah, so I think we should definitely work on ourselves to make ourselves better in order to find the right person for us.
Yes. Yeah, we have to get better at knowing who we are, pretty much.
Exactly. I think we should do a lot of self reflection every
Yeah.
time we're thinking, oh, what's the kind of partner do I want? First, like, become that.
Right.
Become the
Right.
partner you would really want.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, Tisha. So, of course, when people are looking for a short term relationship and a long term relationship, you can have a very different criteria to select. Do you think there's a
Hmm.
difference personally? Like, whenever you were looking for a short term versus a long term, do you think there was a difference?
Yeah, I think so. I think for short term, you're less, or I would care less about certain characteristics if the person doesn't have them, because I know I'm not really going to be committed to them for the long run. But if I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
for something for the long term, then I think I'm maybe more strict about certain internal characteristics that I care more about, more like the values we were saying earlier. So do you think that there's a difference when you're looking?
I think, yeah, there's a huge difference, because I think that's the biggest reason why when we're dating in our like early 20s, when we're just 20, 21, it's like, yeah, like I'll date you, that that
Hmm.
kind of thing. If you meet somebody, because you're really not thinking, even I think consciously, you're not thinking like, oh, maybe one day I would marry this person. You're like,
Right.
well, let's see how this goes, where it goes, etc., etc. And you're not vetting people with that kind of mindset. And I think that's why it gets so hard to date in your late 20s, when you're like 20 and 29, where you're like, okay, now I'm actually looking for something serious in a long-term relationship.
Hmm. Hmm.
So your vetting process is just completely different.
Yeah, I completely agree with that 100%. But the only issue I see with having different preferences for short and long term is if you date someone with the intention of dating them for the short term and you're not really caring about certain characteristics, and then that short term thing turns into something more long term, and now you're here for a lot longer than you expected with someone that may not fit the criteria that you have set for yourself.
I think obviously when something like that happens, it's like you need to really sit with yourself and figure out, where's my life going? Do I really want to be with this person or not? And I know
Hmm.
a lot of times we don't think about it. We're like in that kind of comfort space that, oh, I've known this person, this person's
You're
around me.
comfortable.
Yes, it becomes like that person becomes like your safety net in a
Hmm.
lot
Hmm.
in a lot of cases. And I think that's where a lot of like people go wrong,
Yeah,
where
definitely.
yeah, where from the inside, that this is not really my person. I can't see myself being with this person for the long term, but we're just in it because I'm too afraid to get out.
Yeah, you're just sticking with it for the sake of being there at that point.
Hmm. That happens to a lot of us, the best of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
Sachi and I actually found a study to go along with this, and they did this study in college students actually. So they gauged their preferences for different qualities, being external attributes like how handsome or pretty you look, your fitness, and then more internal attributes, like intelligence, honesty, warmth. And they found out, of course, for the short term, people were more interested in more sexual attributes. And for the long term, people were more interested in finding partners that match their preferences for more internal characteristics.
exactly. I mean, that's what I do feel like your body, your beauty, and all of that is gonna go away in a few years, like when the youth is over.
Right.
But for the long term, what you really do need is that honesty, that warmth, where you go to that person and you feel like, okay, this is my person, this is my home and my safe place, and
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Hmm.
Yeah, that's how you know when it's perfect, or at
Yeah,
least
that's
right.
when you know exactly. And I think a lot of times I do feel like when you're with that person, you should just be at peace.
Mm-hmm.
You should just feel calm. It's not like a war inside of you every time. Like you have to be around that person or hang around with that person.
Right.
Which
It's not an annoyance.
no, it's that's what like it's not, and that's how you know if the person's right for you or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess you won't always feel like I feel like in marriages you're not always 100% happy with the person, but at least you know you still value them, you still get along with them, you still appreciate
Mm.
them and things like that.
And respect them. I think yeah, respect is
Yeah,
the biggest
respect.
thing. You may not like maybe you don't feel like oh god I love this person today, but you still respect
Hmm.
that person, and you're like
Right.
there's no love coming out of me today for you, but I respect you.
Like I still want you in the house, just not in my face.
Not in my face, not around, like very close to me. Yeah, yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we ready for the fun part?
Yes. Our last little section is the this or that. So Sachi and I are going to go through some character traits or attributes that you might look for in partners, and we're going to say which one we prefer. And you can also say which one you prefer down in the comments.
Yeah, that'll be so fun if you guys tell us like what would you prefer, because trust me, these choices are hard. Um, okay, so Tisha, do you want to start off?
Okay, yeah. So the first one, wealth or intelligence?
I cannot choose. I cannot choose. It's hard because well, I would love to I would love my kids to have generational wealth. I mean, who wouldn't? But the thing is, like, if you're wealthy and you're stupid, you lose all your wealth.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But if you're intelligent, then there's still a chance that you can create wealth. So I guess I'd say intelligent.
You saying intelligence? I think I'm going wealth.
You're going wealth, okay?
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought process as you, where if you're, so I'm thinking intelligence like book smart, but maybe you
Okay.
have like a common sense smart about you that has gotten you your money thus far, and I'll take that. I can handle the book part of it. You just take care of
Hmm.
the rest.
Yeah, like okay. Even I mean, even I thought about like choosing wealth because
Yeah,
I was like, well, I know I'm smart. Like I can if I have the capital, then I can go ahead and like do my own thing and
I can
generate more
carry us
wealth.
along. Yeah,
Yeah, but like obviously the other person cannot be super stupid to just waste
yeah, yeah,
everything out.
uh, yeah.
You know.
That would be annoying.
Yeah, yeah, that would be really bad. So I mean, I'll take the combination wealthy and intelligent.
The best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds. Okay, you're done. Attractive or good sense of humor?
I'm taking the sense of humor. I rather laugh than, I mean, obviously I want somebody to be attractive, but I rather laugh. What about you?
Oh, jeez. It's hard. Like it's attractive with a good sense of humor. Um, but if I had to choose one, I mean, see, I think there's a difference in like if somebody is attractive for the world versus somebody is attractive for you.
Attractive for you.
Uh, Attractive for me. Like
Like
if you're
say
not
they are
attractive,
about say your ideal attractiveness is like a 8 or 9 and this person is like a 5.
I well, if somebody's very attractive but has a terrible sense of humor, that'll be bad. So I'd say a good sense of humor with an attractive rating of 6 on 10. Oh
Okay.
God.
All right, next
Yeah.
one. Extrovert or introvert?
Mm. Hmm. Extrovert or introvert? Uh, Introvert.
Introvert? Extrovert.
Introvert. Extrovert. But okay, why do you say extrovert?
I think if someone is more introverted than me, then I feel like I have to keep the conversation going and it will ultimately be more work. So if someone's extroverted, they are already going to be talking and have like things to talk about, and I can just like bounce off of that until I kind of get more comfortable and I feel like talking more. And then
Mm-hmm.
also, I think they'll more so to push me outside to go do stuff and want to go out and do like go out and get drinks or go to a coffee shop or just go do stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I am more of an extroverted kind of a personality. I lean more towards that. So I think because after I dated somebody who was like even more extroverted than I am, like I could not handle it. I just
it was too
couldn't.
much.
Too much extrovertedness. And I was like, that's not happening. Can't deal with that. So I think I would take somebody who's an introvert. And there's one thing I do like about introverts is when they're very like safe, when they feel safe and very comfortable, a new personality of them comes out.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
So so yeah, I think I'll be okay with an introvert. Okay. Similar to self in your background or childhood or how you grew up, or similar to self in interest and the leisure activities?
Mm, I think this one, I would say similar background, the childhood part. I think because I think with the activities, even if somebody doesn't like the things that you do 100%, you can grow to enjoy them. Like maybe you just haven't experienced what they like, or what maybe that person hasn't experienced what you like, and maybe they can just grow to enjoy it a little bit. Like enjoy doing it with you, and then maybe enjoy it a little more on themselves by themselves as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are pretty opposite, Tisha. We're really opposite people. So I think I will go. I will actually go with similar, like in to self in interest and interests
Hmm.
and leisure activities. I was like, if I love to watch movies, I would like to watch a movie with you. If I like to go hiking, I would like to go hiking with you,
Hmm.
those kind
Hmm.
of things. If I love to maybe dance or I want to take a dance class and like you hate dancing, then not so
It's
good.
going to be a problem.
I mean, it's not gonna really be like a big problem, but I would definitely want to experience different things with my partner because I think like I do definitely would love for the person to be adventurous because I'm a
Hmm.
very adventurous person. So like experiencing those adventures together would be like a cherry on the cake. So I
Hmm.
think I would
Hmm.
I would love that. It doesn't matter like the kind of childhood that we've had. That's fine. Like it doesn't matter really. But the experiences coming in the future, I think I would love to have the similar ones with the person.
Okay, okay. I like that answer
Mm-hmm.
too. So a type A person that's more rigid and more planning oriented or goal oriented, or type B person who's more of a with the flow and whatever happens kind of happens?
God, this is so difficult. This is so difficult. For me, I feel like if you're too rigid, that's a problem. If you're too like go with the flow, that's the problem too. So I need a happy medium where you're kind of, I think, because I'm a planner, I love to plan things. You should, because I feel like there are some people who wouldn't really care about what the plan is. They're like, yeah, well, we'll do it when we do it. I can't deal with it. It's tough. So it's like
So
if
which
we,
one? You
I
say
know, I don't
you gotta pick one.
I can't. These go with the flow really get onto my nerves.
So you going
Like
with A?
we'll see what happens. Like whatever happens, happens. But like figure out what do you want should happen.
Hmm.
Um, but if you're too rigid, then that's a problem too.
You can't pick.
Like no, any extreme is just like setting yourself up for a failure, I guess.
If
Um,
you had to pick one,
I had to. I'd say okay, go with the flow.
go with the flow. Okay.
Go with the
I would
flow.
say, hmm, this one is really hard, like saying one or the other 100%. I would say I'm more of a planner too when I know I need to really get something done. But I enjoy when other people take the burden away from me and I can just like relax and just like,
Relax.
oh, this is nice.
Yeah. I would kind of like
Uh,
that too. I know it's so hard. This one's really hard. So hard. Um,
I would go with the flow too. I wouldn't want someone to be more oriented than me, and I think that would be
yeah,
more stressful. If I would rather you
exactly.
listen to my plans than and just go along with what I have planned than for you to be planning everything
Mm.
and not have to just be
And
on
like
your
that
schedule.
I exactly, and it's like if you've planned everything and I don't have any say in it, oh my God. Oh my
Hmm.
God. That just can't happen. But like yeah, sometimes once in a blue moon I'll give you the reins. Yes, plan a date, like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and we'll be
It's
okay. But
nice.
other than that, like even like generally, let's say in life, if I think we're just thinking at the surface dating level, but I think we should also think about like big things in life, be it let's say buying a house or how are we going to do our finances and this and that. I think when I think of those things, I would like somebody who's a little more planned and rigid. If that person's like,
Hmm.
well,
Mm.
just go with the flow and
Yeah.
like think where our finances are going and this and that, I'm like, I
Hmm.
don't want that.
Yeah, definitely not with finances, not at all.
No,
I
no,
that would end in tragedy.
it was. That's why I was like, any side, any extreme that we do pick, it's setting us up for a failure. So
Yeah, yeah,
you've got to have that like fine balance of like, yeah, go with the flow when you have to, but be strict about certain things which are, very, very important, like finances.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because imagine you have someone that is also very rigid with finances, and then they have like, we're only spending $20 on food this week, or like, you can only shop with $100 today. I
I
think
would
that
kill
would also
myself.
be so annoying.
I would just kill myself if that was the case. Can't do that. Yeah. So that's what, like a good mix. We need a good mix.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Agreed.
yeah. Okay. Last one. Physical appearance or internal characteristics.
Internal characteristics, definitely.
100%. Internal characteristics. Yeah.
We ended it on
Internal.
an easy note.
No, you did. It wasn't hard to pick. Well, I'm glad because the other ones were so hard to pick.
Right, right.
They were really hard to pick. All right, so that concludes our very first episode of season two. Please tell us how you liked it. We loved talking about this topic, and we would love to also know your
So
partner
much.
preferences.
Definitely. So thank you guys so much for watching again. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, give us a thumbs up on everything, every platform that you see us on. We appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.